Right, everybody. Let's give it a couple more minutes to see if we get any more representatives come in.
Olivia. Jerry's here.
All right, well, we have a lot to cover, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. If any other representatives come in, then they can just get started. So I'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody. And I'd like to introduce myself, Simon Lane, co-president of the Rolando Community Council. So I wanted to let you know that our meeting minutes are on rolandopark.org website. And this is being recorded. You can see it on, are we still on YouTube?
We're on YouTube.
I knew we weren't on Facebook anymore. We're on YouTube now. So you can watch the recording of the meeting on there. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to cover is dues and membership. Okay, to close out our year, last year, we had 87 members. We had $1,044 in dues, and then we had $886.60 in donations. So we did a pretty good job last year. So far for this year, we have 11 renewals, 2 new members, and our dues to date are $156 with a donation of $42.25. I would also like to add in our renewal here that will add into the pot with a donation. We appreciate it. Thank you, Fox. All right. Any questions or anything? Good. All right. All right. So next, I would like to go with our community announcement. Do I see Jennifer?
Or John's online. There she is.
Oh, there she is. Hello. So what we'll do is start with Jennifer Bennett for Redwood Village, and then we'll have Lynn for our Rolando Park. Jennifer.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Happy 2025.
Hey.
I think that Lynn had prepared a slide, which we really appreciate. So, and I know that Roberto, was that Roberto who just walked in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked earlier this week. So last week. So we have a lot of the same topics to discuss, and we're just really happy to discuss our priorities, our community priorities this year. And yeah, we don't have anything else to discuss right now. Our cleanups, I know Lynn's gonna discuss those with you guys. So big welcome to everyone. Thanks for showing up and Happy New Year. Anything I miss, please. When Roberto speaks. Yeah, put it in the chat. All right. Thanks, everyone. Good to see you. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I hate that this never worked.
You can minimize it.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to start off with one of our favorite topics. And you'll probably see this for some time. We're going to be having an election in March. We did not have one this fall because no one volunteered to fill some of our vacant positions. But our 2-year term is up. Sonia and I are willing to run again. See how easy. Michelle very graciously is going to offer to stay on as vice president again. And Joyce isn't eligible this year. She just was elected last year as a member at large, so she's got 1 more year. But we still need a secretary, and we still need a treasurer. And we're looking at how to minimize the amount of time that it takes to be the treasurer. And also we're considering not meeting as a board as frequently. to make it a little easier. We'll discuss that at our board meeting next week, and so next month we'll talk a little bit about that. But if anyone is interested in volunteering, we would love to have someone on the board.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm a bookkeeper.
Uh-huh.
Treasurer would be right up my alley.
Yes. Oh, you're Redwood Village, though.
Oh,
So we need
Sorry.
one for-
oh,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
Our bylaws restrict the board to the community.
Mm,
So we set up associate memberships last year so that we could co-share meetings and everything with Redwood Village. We have not considered, it would be a big step for us to consolidate both together. We're a nonprofit. Redwood Village isn't a nonprofit. So it would require some paperwork and stuff. But thank you. Oh, see the.
I know, I wish, yeah.
Is for profit?
Sorry? If, well, you're not a nonprofit. That's another way to say it.
Or zero.
Bummer. One more time. Okay. And first, I want to thank everyone who came out for our first afternoon holiday social in December. We had more than 30 people show up, and as you can see, we filled a truck with donations of clothing. Clothing all went to the Salvation Army thrift store and Sharia's Closet. So thanks again, everybody, for that. The following Saturday, we were once again very busy because we had a community dumpster day. We filled 2 dumpsters in under 2 hours. So I appreciate everyone who came. It went very well, so well that we've already asked our D9 office for a dumpster day again next December. So, and we'll meet again at the church parking lot. That was a great location, I think, for everybody.
Very successful.
Yeah. So I think tomorrow night, our planning group, Eastern Area Communities, has a meeting at Teen Challenge. I mention that because there's going to be some vacancies in March. Rolando Park will have an open seat. I am termed out, so I will be leaving. Redwood Village still has an open seat. You're not required to attend a minimum number of meetings in order to join the planning group. So if anyone's interested, I encourage you to show up tomorrow night and take an interest in your planning group and decisions we make here. Last thing for updates, we'll talk later about what we're doing this year in terms of priorities, but we're having our first Streamview Dumpster Day of the year, February 8th. It'll be from 9 to 11. It's at Streamview and Spa Street, which is more on the west side of Streamview. It's the same place we've done the last 2 years. And we will be talking more during priorities because this is the first of 4 dumpster days on Streamview for the year as we try and work on the illegal dumping problem there. And I think, oh, sorry, we have one more thing here. We're closing out 2024. We're going to spin the wheel of appreciation for our volunteers again. Once again, this year we had over 50 volunteers at cleanups and different events. Did everyone see that?
No.
No, okay. Sorry. So 3 times a year, we're doing a little spin for appreciation. All the names who volunteered this year are on our list, and we're going to do a spin. And the winner. Oh, did I not share it again? Was there a minute ago? Where'd it go? I am at the Zoom meeting. No, hang on, folks.
It's right there. It's right there. Just need to expand it. No, it's all the way to the right. Look up to the right, all the way to the arrows right there at the bottom corner.
Nope. Sorry, folks.
On the left-handed.
Yes, of course.
I can wait to win.
Well, I think your name's on the list.
Give you like 5 more minutes.
There it is, right there. There we go, sorry. There we go.
I know.
There it is. Yay.
But we all.
Oh,
I'm gonna close the ad. No one
Yeah,
wants
the
to see this.
translation language.
All right, folks, everyone who volunteered, we keep a data sheet and keep track of everyone so that we can do this and say thank you to everyone who shows up. So I'm going to spin the wheel. Adam Hahn. Oh, I know who that is. That's Regent's Pharmacies.
Oh.
It's Stephanie's son. They showed up for one of our cleanups. So I will stop by and deliver this to Regent's Pharmacy to Adam. All right. Thanks, everyone. And that's all we have for updates for now.
What did he win?
He won a $25 gift card.
All right. Well, thank you. So we will move on to public comments. If anyone has them, we want to keep those to 2 minutes. We have like a tight agenda tonight. So anybody have any non-agenda public comments? And,
No.
oh, I see a hand.
Well, I'm not sure if it qualifies because I've addressed it before, but we have across the street from me, there's some farming going on in the canyon, and I think I've mentioned it to friends, and I've also called different people that the expansion and the wood and with all the wind and that, I just would wish that someone would take a look again at 3922 West Court and down that hillside. We had fires come up there before. And well, now there's no be that
Definitely not.
fire and homeless people that roam through there. And I'm looking forward to officer report on because we try to steal cars off the court, and so looking forward to hearing about that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other comments? Up there?
No one online.
Mia's hand, is that your hand or your mouse?
It looks like a hand.
Is your hand up, Mia? Or is that a mouse?
I think it's a mouse. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no-
Because it's usually yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Mouse.
all right. Well, thank you. Did you have the
I
comment?
I was just wondering if anybody besides myself was a little bit concerned about the ad hoc restaurant that moving into our park before we get our sign up.
Yeah.
There on Tuesday evening, is that just the county?
Yeah, I think we're all aware of it
I'm going to ask Josh to address that during his comments.
during his comments. Yeah, so anything else? All right, so we'll start moving on to our community representatives. And we'll ask that we keep it to 4 minutes each. It looks like we got several, but Matthew Gordon beat you all. So he's here first. Welcome.
What's up, party people? Good evening. My name is Matthew Gordon. I am your new district director here on behalf of State Assembly member Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins. I had to come back to my peeps. I come with almost 10 years experience serving in government. I think most of the board knew me when I was just an intern with Council District 4. We had some great times together. We're going to continue to party here. So I've served as city council president. I most recently served Mayor Todd Gloria as his director of the Office of Boards and Commissions. And then now I make my way to you here representing the 79th Assembly District. I don't have any legislative updates. The session just reconvened as of the 6th of January. The finalized legislative packages are due later this month on the 24th. The Assembly member has reviewed about 50 pieces of legislation, but I'll keep this community posted on her finalized legislative package. What I can share with you, a couple things. Excuse me as I learn. I am proud to announce that Assemblymember Sharp Collins has been appointed as the Assistant Majority Leader on Policy and Research by Speaker Rivas. She is the only member of the San Diego delegation appointed to the Speaker's leadership team, so we are proud of that. She'll play a key role in shaping statewide policy. Also, last but not least, she hit the ground running. She has submitted a formal letter to MTS supporting their Clean Transit Advancement Campus project under their RAISE program. This project aims to create local jobs, enhance clean transportation options, and prioritize underserved communities. But most importantly, we're all aware of the recent or last year's floods in January and how the 79th in particular was heavily impacted. I myself live in the district off of 62nd and Imperial. Can't confirm nor deny that, but I was one of the homes impacted last January during the floods. It was very, I hadn't seen anything like it in my almost 35 years of living now. And these are things that are on the mind of the assembly members. So as our thoughts, prayers go out to those impacted in LA with the wildfires, we still have home base here to take care of as well. There's still homes to be rebuilt due to the floods last January, and we're looking to provide some assistance, at least from a state perspective. On that note, I can open it up to some questions, and bear with me, I'm only in month 2.
Question?
What?
No,
People
nothing
at
else?
home, I don't know where the camera's at, but in conclusion, I'm excited to be here. I assigned myself this community because we go way back. I am your guy, I'm your man. I may not always be available, but I'm always accessible. So please, I haven't remembered our district number just yet, but our district office line is area code 619-465-7903. Once again, our district office line is area code 619-465-7903. And with that, I better thank you.
All right. Nice to have you back again. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, and thank you. I come into this new year on a personal note as a married man.
Congratulations.
Yeah, she put a ring on it, y'all. So I'm happy. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, Jess.
All right. All right. Roberto, Marin.
Well, it
Hard
can't
act
be
to follow.
Matthew.
I was gonna say, hard act to
Hard to
follow
follow.
there.
Sorry, everyone. Roberto Marin, community rep. Roberto Marin, community rep for council member Sean Oliveira. So that's the first news I have. If you didn't hear, the council president actually is going to Joe LaCava. He's actually the new council president of the council. So we're proud of that, and we are going to be supporting him in the future. So your council member, one of the reasons why he did that was because he really wanted to be in the community more, really wanted to be hands-on. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why he led Joe LaCava with that position. So I'm happy to provide that. So budget time. I know people don't want to hear budget. Budgets are looking very grim for the city. We're looking at a $258 million budget deficit. It's not looking too hot. And so we released a memo. It was due on the 13th. I have it here. I have some physical copies with me. But wanted to read you just one portion of it. And this is straight from the council member. However, I am deeply concerned about how across the board cuts will impact the urban and diverse communities that I represent. Reducing disparities has been at the forefront in the last several budget cycles when the city added many programs, services, and positions to meet constituent needs. Same approach must be at the forefront now when the city faces a significant deficit. Then this memo expresses my concerns and priorities for developing the FY 26 budget. And it's 4 pages long, it's pretty simplistic. I'd highly recommend you reading it. If you want a copy, please let me know. I want to highlight a couple of things. The first one being that he really wants to maintain funding for chartered mandated departments. That includes the city attorney's office, the ethics commission, and the city auditor. Should be adequately funded so they can carry out the responsibilities you, as voters, have entrusted with them. We also did not change our priorities from our September memo. So please feel free, if you want a copy of that, it's on our website to look at. I encourage you to read it through. There are some Rolando Park priorities on there as well. I believe a couple, 1 or 2. And so, yeah, so that's the budget. I'm going to talk about more community-based updates. First one being Redwood Village. Officer Cummings and I are best friends because of this. But we're having issues with the Leah Street. Obviously, we have them abandoning HSSD, the project. So unfortunately, they've been kind of destroying some of the materials there and kind of just taking it with them to the hillside. And obviously with the fires, we're really concerned about that. So Officer Cummings and I have been working with the mayor's office, Environmental Services Department, the Transportation Department, the Open Space Division of Park and Rec. So we're working vastly with a bunch of folks, and we're looking for a long-term solution that folks desperately need in that area. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what are people taking?
They're taking like a part of the shed, like a shed,
Oh, okay.
and they're like literally disassembling it and just taking it up. One of the solutions that we're looking at, and we'll discuss further as with Lynn and Jennifer and the community, is red curbing some of that Choice Parkway area. We know there's a lot of tractor trailers and also a lot of RVs. So we're trying to fit as necessary the red curbing as we can. I also want to let you all know there's going to be some smart street lights in Redwood Village. I spoke to Jennifer a little bit about this last week. But if you don't know, there's going to be a smart street light on 54th in Streamview, and I believe on one on College in Streamview. And there will also be one on University and Choice Parkway. So if you have any feedback on that, basically let me know, and I'm happy to provide that to SDPD. But yeah, that's kind of for Redwood Village what we're looking at this year. As Lynn mentioned, we're going to be taking the Streamview crisis a little bit more serious, hopefully. I'm trying to get some dumpster days there more frequented. We're going to be doing educational pieces with the department and just educating folks on how and what is illegal dumping and why it's so harmful for the communities at hand. For Rolando Park, I know folks have been concerned about the fires. We have our beloved Xena Canyon behind here. So what we have asked Open Space and San Diego Unified to immediately start cutting brush again. We have yet to hear from them as of this point, but we have made that formally a formal request through email. So stay tuned for that. And lastly, I know Josh will touch on it a little bit more. We had our folks from City Heights CDC visit the folks over here. It seemed like they had good dialogue. Unfortunately, I haven't heard any updates in the past week and a half. They're still there. My main concern and our office's concern is that they have an open fire pit on the left-hand side that is very exposed to the palm fronds, which we all know is a matchstick waiting to happen.
No fire extinguisher.
Yeah. So, and how densely populated that area is, a couple brush areas, and so that is our concern. I know Josh and I will talk about it probably after the meeting about our next steps. We welcome business. We understand folks need to make a living, but we also understand that blocking traffic, creating trash, creating hazards in the community.
People are walking across.
Yeah.
They're not using the crosswalk.
It's in the dark. And so we want to.
That the other day, it was a rather big surprise when I was going to
Yeah.
turn right. I'm like, whoa, all these and they're stopping, and I'm like,
Yep.
that's a bad place to stop. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so it's right here in the corner, College Grove and then College Avenue. Yeah, so we will be looking into that. We'll try to find the best solution for them. Again, they're trying to make a living, but I understand them, but I also want to make sure the community has safety mechanisms to avoid anything like that.
They were over on the other side.
Yes, unfortunately, I talked to my counterparts at District 4 and they told the property owner and they kicked them out this way. So I'm gonna try to work with them, with Officer Cummings, the other CRO, to see if we can find them and City Heights CDC to find a viable place. Because their tacos apparently are very good. And have a lot of people, so we want to make sure that they get somewhere safe. One more thing, because I know we're short on time. The floods are coming up. I just want to ensure everyone that we are doing all we can at the city to develop a game plan in terms of clearing out the stormwater channels. I'm constantly getting updates from stormwater. I'm flagging things for stormwater all the time. And so if there is any questions, comments, or concerns about the storm channel, I know along the boulevard, there was dredging done. We've done a couple maintenance last year. We're in the new year. Please let us know. This goes for Redwood Village as well. There's a creek that's right there that goes along Choice Creek. So any questions? Yes.
Yeah, that lovely little house that's down at the corner of Orlando and, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
There was floods there, but now they put their beautiful fence there so they can hide their little cars that's gonna go into that little ditch that's behind there. So what's the update with that? Last I heard, there was some kind of legal stuff.
It's still in the legalities of it.
That would be really bad, again, if
Yeah.
you can see what's going back behind their big old fence. I know they're.
Yes, I know stormwater has been out there in the easement to take care of that. They actually, so with the construction, it's kind of been a good thing because they haven't been putting the cars on there. But I will say the city attorney is involved and also DSD is involved, Department of Development Services. So look, I know it's painful. We started this process in June. Look, I wish I could snap my fingers and have them go away. Unfortunately, it's a legal process. It's going to take some time, but just know that we are working on it. The council member has flagged it for the Chief Operating Officer, Eric Dargan, and the mayor's office. So we're consistently pounding their office and pounding the city attorney to be like, all right, residents are waiting. I need an update. And so that's kind of where that is at. Any other questions online or here?
Yes, I have a question. Where are those goats?
I love the goats.
Yes, actually, we have an update. I believe they're going to be here next month.
Really?
Yes, that is my presumption, yes. And actually, if you noticed, I think it was like a month ago, they're in Mission Valley and people are like, oh my gosh, there's goats on the side of the hill or whatever. Yeah, it's the same concept. We're trying to get details on like when that would like consistently like take place, let residents know so they don't freak out and hang out with the goats. So we're looking at that and trying to make sure that we prevent as much fire danger as possible. Especially with what's going on in LA. So I just want to make that very clear that, as Matthew mentioned, those folks are in our hearts and prayers. And I know it's very hard because we dealt with the floods and that was not pretty. But so yeah, it's pretty much question.
Do you know anything about the construction on 69th Street?
Yes, that is the jurisdiction of La Mesa. So the city of La Mesa is constructing a new stormwater drainage system. Unfortunately, good news is they're upgrading their stormwater system for us. The bad news is it's not going into the city of, it's connected, but it's not, the city of San Diego is not maintaining that project. I've been getting updates from the council members and the mayor offices from that jurisdiction, and they are close to completion. I think they're a month or two. I know it's a pain because people got to go all the way in Aragon, all the way hoopty. So yeah, if you have any concerns about that, please feel free to reach out to the city of La Mesa, or you can reach out to me and I'll reach out to them.
Yeah, I think they're running a couple of months behind on it.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How many more basketballs do I get to pick up on these 3/4 of on the bed?
Oh, he's talking about the.
For Hughes.
For It's
For
really
Hughes
gonna
Street?
happen, Eric.
So for Hughes Street, it's actually supposed to start in the spring. That is I just let Jennifer know and I sent Jennifer an email on that. So that has been confirmed. They were a little behind with construction, but construction will break in the spring for that. And that's starting from, I believe, the end of the cul-de-sac. I'll get the exact dimensions. Past, I believe, is it Darnell? Yeah, past Darnell. I think to Gale, I think somewhere right there. But I'll get the dimensions for you all to look at. Mhm.
All right, thank you, Roberto. All right, so we're gonna move right along.
No worries.
I try, sorry.
We're gonna move right along to Officer Joshua Cummings.
Here you go.
Sorry, Josh.
Stand over here, right, for the.
Yeah, for the sound. it's
Yeah, no
better.
worries.
Much
All right,
better.
so bear with me. I got quite the list. I'm glad to see that there's a good attendance here. Hope everyone's doing well and had a happy New Year's. I've been really insanely busy, but we're making a lot of good progress around the community as a whole. The biggest priority we have right now, obviously, is the fire threat. The fire threat in our canyons, our open spaces. It is a huge deal. Obviously, we had the Montezuma fire, we had the LA, we have LA's, currently a thing. It's a major disaster of epic proportion. We're doing everything we can to literally avoid that. So our big focus on that has been the Fairmount Avenue Canyon area, that system. Any of the open space canyons, we've been putting forth a lot of effort with Neighborhood Policing Division, Environmental Services. We've had all these citizens from the Kensington Fire Safe and trying to start other fire safety committees. And there's just a lot going on. There's thousands of emails, I feel like at this point, and maps of homeless encampments everywhere. And at one point, even the fire department was driving up and down Fairmount Avenue, shooting fire retardant off the sides of the road. So that canyon has been identified as one of the worst canyons we have. I think at one point we had 25 encampments built into that canyon system with brush fires going up pretty regularly. So that's why there's been a lot of dedicated effort there. However, all canyons and open spaces are a priority as far as the encampments, illegal fires, and all of those things. The food truck situation. So I actually went down and visited them. Very nice people. They wanted me to eat some free tacos. I didn't take any. But either way, I informed them that obviously it's become a little bit of a hazard. There's some things going on. They were workers that were there. There was no actual people there that ran it. They were just employees. I did get a couple pictures with 2 different cell phone numbers that they were using for Zelle accounts, and I had a Spanish-speaking officer reach out. He returns to work on tomorrow, so I'll liaison with him to see if he's heard anything, gotten any updates regarding the voicemails that he left. So I am on that. I will share that information with Roberto as well for follow-up. Today, I housed a family with 5 juveniles, the oldest being 5, the youngest being twins at 1 year old. They were living in a semi-truck. We got them into El Cajon Transitional Living. They are now sheltered. There's a much longer story that goes with that, but it's taken care of, and thank goodness they're off the street. There has been a pretty drastic increase, if anyone's seen it, prostitution activity around El Cajon Boulevard. I don't know if anyone has noticed that. So there was some migration of some of that activity coming from downtown. It's Dalbergia and Main Street, National Avenue specifically. That is being addressed wholeheartedly. I've had many conversations. I figured out the migration path of where they're coming from. We got Vice involved. They're going to be running an op with our crime suppression team soon. We got Human Trafficking Task Force involved. We're on the lookout for juveniles. I got plenty of businesses keeping a lookout for me, but we're diligently addressing that issue. I think we also got all the patrol sergeants involved and letting their officers know that they need to be up there doing high visibility saturation to avoid the Johns and disrupt the business side of that operation. Obviously, loitering with intent under the current situation that we currently have, right, is not a crime. They can do that. However, we cannot, if we target the Johns and we target, the business and we don't allow them to operate, then we put that out and we hate to say it, but they move somewhere else, not in our community. So, and I had that conversation specifically. I told them, like, we're not doing this. It's not here. It's not going to be tolerated. I will personally destroy your business. So that's my approach, because that brings a lot of crime with it. It brings robberies, carjackings, kidnappings, sexual assaults and abuses and all kinds of things. It's very sad. And I wish a lot more people would take the resources that are out there for that. Whiteman Park, I've been running a huge operation at Whiteman Park, putting a lot of time. There's a coalition of people, the fire department, Parks and Recs. I have 2 district managers that are helping me with that, along with environmental services, other officers. We just made an arrest there yesterday, but this has been a 20-year problem for our division. It's created an officer safety hazard. It's created a lot of fires. It's created a lot of just people can't even use the park. The lights were out. They're getting tampered with. The park doesn't feel safe to the community. So we've been spending several hours of out of service time. We've made some arrests. We've done FIs. And, I'm sharing this here, and this is Rolando Park in Redwood Village. And we might say, well, how does that impact us? Well, what I found out is the entire fire battalion was running consistent calls for service. 5 different fire engines were at that specific address, 5,000 Whiteman. doing smoke checks because of transient encampment activity that was creating smoke, obviously, and then people were calling them in. So here we are tying up 5 fire trucks to go to this constantly, run these calls when they could be doing fire prevention. They could be going to a car accident, a medical call, an overdose, any of those other things. So we're freeing up a massive resource. And I heard that specifically from the captain of Engine 17. So that is why it's important, because that resource is your resource. Those are your firefighters. So those are the city's firefighters, right? Like, we need those guys available, not for smoke checks in the park. And we need them to do the thing they need to do. So that's a huge thing. There's so much progress happening there. I even got Talmadge Patrol picking up trash over there. It's just an amazing, the village that's coming together, the progress that's being made. Even, and the people who own the mini park above are investing bunch of money, increasing lighting, signage, turf, a fence that closes off access to the canyon to further help with the flooding and help with the fire prevention. So there's a lot of progress being made there. It's exciting. I'm super happy to be a part of that. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. Prop 36. So everybody is aware of Prop 36. It's a huge thing. If you're not aware, it's the amended version of Prop 47. So what that means is we go out and we respond to that theft that happened at, the Walmart over here. And we do a records check, and that individual has 2 prior convictions for theft-related offenses. And in his entire life, that theft of that $15, whatever it is at Walmart, or $150 is a felony arrest, felony. So that comes with harsher consequences. That also applies to narcotics activity. When that is, as far as they get contacted, maybe they have a fire in an encampment or whatever it is, and we contact them, we do a records check. They have 2 prior convictions in their entire life for possession of a controlled substance. That now becomes a felony. Now, keep in mind, it's a wobbler. Doesn't mean we're just dropping the hammer. But a felony arrest allows us to make that arrest, to get them in front of a judge. The judge can say, you need to go to drug court, you need to go to rehab, you need to do this. And if you don't, then eventually it comes with, obviously, some sort of incarceration. So Prop 36, we've already made, within the first 10 hours of it being passed, we made probably 3 arrests regarding Prop 36 related stuff, thefts and drugs. So it's going to take some time, but Prop 36 is going to hopefully restore a little bit of order, help these businesses stay in business, reduce the amount of loss, and get some of these people highly addicted to controlled substance into these rehabilitation programs and out of our communities, committing random acts of violence and thefts and other things. So Prop 36 is a big deal for us. It's days old, and it's already showing to help us a lot. I did work in regards to vehicle thefts. I've actually been working with our regional auto theft task force, which is a county-wide task force, to help identify a pretty large ring, I think it is, of vehicle thefts, and that's in our area. And speaking of auto thefts, we actually just had a occupied stolen vehicle arrest I was just assisted with literally a few hours ago in front of the Jolars here in the Redwood Village, Rolando Park area. So we got him in custody. He's got prior thefts for robbery and all kinds, on parole for robbery and all kinds of other priors. So he's a guy that needed to be off the street. He was in a stolen car. That just happened a little bit ago. And we are working on the series related stuff. Burglary series, we arrested a guy up here by the water tower and by Dandridge. He was related to 28 burglaries.
Wow.
So we actually, quick story, we had him in custody for 20 burglaries, mainly commercial. He was using a rock, throwing a rock through the window, going in, stealing everything. We got him for 20 across the county and multiple here, several everywhere else. We stacked bail. We made it to where he had to provide money to show that where the bail money comes from, so he can't just get out. They basically dropped all those harsh penalties, everything. He ended up bailing out at like $120,000 bail or something, which obviously is not that whole amount. So he was back out after committing 20 burglaries. He did 4 more shortly after getting released, and then 4 other ones throughout the county. And we actually arrested him in a car with a female up off of Dandridge by a tip from a citizen that came in, some narcotics activity. We got him 28 burglaries now is what he's facing. So that's a big thing for us, because this guy was burglarizing so many people, and to get him off the street, it's a huge arrest to keep that one going. So that recently did happen. The Choice Parkway fire, I'm almost done. I got one more thing after this. The Choice Parkway fire, I was there for that. As soon as that fire happened, I went and met with the fire department. I also hiked that entire area because all those encampments were vacated because there was a fire. That made me discover, okay, well, we can't see all this, but there's some stuff obviously going on here. I immediately got with Roberto. we immediately got with environmental services and they led a massive effort into the brush area up there to rid that place out, once again, of all these encampments. Obviously, it's something we have to monitor. It's not something that just goes away. But I was there. I try to make sure when these critical incidents happen that if I'm working, I'm there because I want to firsthand experience it and know what is happening so I can best address it and work with everyone that I work with to get through that issue and then answer any of the tough questions. Lastly, I will say we are doing an experiment right now as a department to switch to 12-hour shifts. I don't know if that affects the community relations side of things, but it definitely could affect patrol. Right now, there's no dedicated answer on, hey, this is what's going to happen because we have to do it. But they're looking at being prepared for what the future brings and not what today's bringing. Today, we face a lot of challenges. We're only meeting our staffing levels because of overtime officers. And by switching to 12-hour shifts, we get rid of a second watch shift and we have a 12 on, 12 off schedule, which obviously gives us more manpower. The department sent out a survey. We all answered the survey. Then it's going into this trial phase where officers are going to go through a whole trial process. Eventually, they'll have a whole division run 12 on, 12 off to see how that impacts the quality of life of the officers and how it impacts everybody. And then ultimately, they'll come out with a study to figure out if that's good or bad for us. And then if we have to do it, then we know what it's going to take and we know, the pros and cons of it. So we are experimenting with it. It is a thing we're looking at because of our staffing. And so that's kind of what we got going on. Stormwater also is working on obviously various things. And one of the things that they've helped out on as well is the Whiteman Park project. So that is my list for right now. I know that was long and I took up way too much time and I'm sorry for that.
No worries, there was a lot of good.
There's
Yeah.
just a lot going on, obviously, all the time. And if I can be a resource to any of you, please let me know. And does anyone have any quick questions? Very quick.
Firecrackers.
Oh, firecrackers is a very tough thing to deal with. That is a very hard one. The biggest problem with the firecrackers is they get lit and they go off and then we're gone and we get there. And even if we're there in 4 minutes, it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Years ago, really shut it down a lot. We had a fall this year, but
Maybe-
that did help because those patrols that they had out there, they didn't want to be seen.
With the fireworks.
Blowing off.
Yeah. New Year's was probably pretty eventful, I would
Yes.
imagine. Yeah, the holidays are so hard. They're so hard to deal with. What was your question, ma'am?
I have a question. I just wanted to thank you for everything that you do
Yeah.
and for being so involved and for caring. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Any other questions online?
We'll take one last one and
I want one clarification on parking. We have over on Celia Vista, somebody's been doing some construction work and stuff and just leaving trail parked on the street and connected to Rockville overnight. They'll be there for a few days. If they want it, then they fill it back up and then they put the trailer back in. That does trailers that aren't self-propelled. Does that fall under the shouldn't be out on the street between, was it 11 a.m., 2 a.m. to?
The OVO. I'm sure it depends on the size of the trailer. Obviously, there's that. The other issue is I don't think there shouldn't be unattached trailers on city street. If you could send me an email, I'll get it to the Parking Enforcement Administration, also get it to Vehicle Abatement. Those are the guys that are very helpful.
They came through and put their tickets on them and they got moved. They were gone the next day.
Yeah, typically that's what happens. Those tickets for those unattended trailers that aren't hooked up, if it meets that criteria, they're pretty good fines. So that's probably why they moved them.
I have a black truck that they just cut off the side of the license plate that should have the registration. You don't even know what the last letter of the license plate is, so it's just.
Yeah, it's difficult. If you can send me an email, I'll get it to where it needs to go to see if we can get the additional enforcement. And if it becomes more of an issue, then I will be out there myself to figure it out and direct the resources I need to.
Yeah, Craig, you can find Josh's contact information is on our website under community links and numbers. Email and phone number for Josh, everybody.
All trailers have to be registered?
If it's a PTI, then it's 5 years, right? If it's not, if it's a commercial, I don't know off the top of my head that specific section, but it just depends on the situation. PTI trailers, I believe the permanent like trailer registration, it's like a 5-year tag for those, but they do have to be registered. If they are not registered,
After the 5 years.
then it's expired, of course, and
So do you have to pay?
yes, to get it re-registered.
Really?
From my experience. And I have towed one. There was a junk haul business that expired registration actually here in, actually this is across off of, Choice Creek. And we cleaned that up real quick because I impounded the trailer and everything else. And then that was it. They didn't stop that activity there. But we do have that, issue with the businesses where they're running this business out of their, kind of like our guy down here at Rolando, right? He'll store cars on some surface street somewhere. That's a big problem I have too, and I monitor that real closely in the areas I know it's happening, and I try to tow as many of them as I can. So, anyway, hope that answers your questions. I think my time is up. I'm gonna get kicked out.
You guys, if you have any other questions, please meet with him afterwards.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah,
He'll be here.
he'll be here after, you'll be here after, right, Josh? Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. So what we want to do is move on to, we're gonna have our community priorities, so please hang in.
No,
But I know, sorry. So please hang in. But before we do that, we have representatives from the Cook and Smith Consultants for the city of San Diego, and they're gonna update us on the trash and recycling cost of service studies.
but
You have the PowerPoint on my flash drive, just in case it gives you trouble.
yeah, it was so big I couldn't download it. Yeah,
Yes. Here we go.
Did I get one?
Save it.
get out to my email account to get it.
Okay,
Sorry.
probably just go to sit on the flat drive.
Oh, yeah,
I don't,
I
have one USB
yeah.
cord.
I believe probably Sarah emailed it to you.
Yeah, I can't get out to my,
So we can do it
I can't get out to my email.
There's so many.
Are you able to get them, Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, and you can just share it. Yeah. Go ahead and share.
Just stay in, stay out every day. Presentation. Teams.
There you go. Okay. Okay.
Maybe go more to the left. Oh, it doesn't move on, yeah.
There we go.
Okay. I don't know why that won't go away. It won't go away. And let you, wherever you need.
I think it's good. Oh, maybe if you could do the next slide. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
How to make that move back.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. To clarify, we are not Cook and Schmidt. We actually work for Environmental Services. My name is Leah Jackson. I'm the Assistant Management Analyst. And I'm here today with my counterpart, Rosa Elena Enriquez. And she also works for Environmental Services as well. Hi, everyone on Zoom as well. I hope you can see me and hear me okay. But today we're going to provide a brief update on Measure B. And before I get started, I'm hoping I can get a show of hands to see just who is keeping up to date with Measure B, is aware of it, knows kind of a little bit about it. We'll half and half. So today we're going to go over our outreach and engagement efforts so far and also what the cost of service study has consisted of. And then we'll provide our next steps moving forward as well. So next slide. Okay, so just a brief background on Measure B. It was passed with San Diego voters in 2022. Measure B did clarify a couple of different things with ESD. So one, it clarified who we're able to serve. It clarifies that you can no longer serve customers that have a property of more than 4 units, and we can only serve if you have a maximum of 4 units. It also gave the city the authority to charge a fee. So it didn't exactly enact the fee immediately, but it gave us the authority to collect the fee if passed. And it also allowed us to review our current trash collection services to see what we can do better, what we're lacking in. So who's impacted by this? So of course, there's single family homes. That is a majority of our customer base. If you're a single family home, the biggest impact or largest impact is that you'll have a fee potentially that you should be paying. There's also those who are currently not serviced by ESD, should be. So maybe they just have less than 4 units. They should be on ESD service, but currently they're with a franchise hauler. We're going to be bringing them back onto ESD service or bringing them onto ESD for the first time. And on the flip side of that, there are those that we currently service that we should not be. So maybe years ago, they were only a single family house, but they added a couple ADUs in the back. If they have more than 4 units, we can no longer service them anymore. So those properties are transitioned to franchise hauling like WN, Echo, haulers in the city of San Diego. Next slide, please. And there's also the cost of service study. So with the passing of Measure B, we have to make sure that we're going to adhere to Prop 218, which states that we cannot charge more than it costs the service to provide. So we need to make sure that the cost of the fee aligns with how much it costs to actually provide the service to the city. And it's going to allow us to do 4 things. So we need to determine the baseline cost analysis. This will tell us how much it costs for the staff, the mileage, just the simple processing, or not simple, but processing of recyclables, processing of organic waste. We need to know everything that goes into actually providing service to the city. It also allows us to ask residents what they would like to see. So there are certain things that we don't offer currently that maybe residents would like. For example, like maybe weekly recycling versus bi-weekly recycling, just different things that we could probably do if we actually had a fee that could help us pay for those things. The cost of service study will also determine a fee structure, so it'll help us see exactly how the fee will progress over time. And an investigation of a discount program. So we understand there are people on fixed income or those that just simply probably not afford this fee. So we have a lifeline rate that we're establishing right now, still working out the details, who would qualify, how that would happen, how you would apply. But we definitely want to make sure that there is a discount program for the fee as well. Next slide, please. So here's a timeline of what's happened. It's a timeline from 2022 to now. So again, it passed in 2022 in November. In March of 2024, our former director and our current assistant director, Jeremy Bauer, went to city council and we were awarded our consulting agreement with HDR. And from then on, from March until July, we started planning our outreach and engagement efforts, gave briefings to the mayor's office, city council, so they were fully aware of how that would go and what it would look like. We started round 1 of our outreach and engagement efforts in July. We had 9 open house meetings. There's more slides that'll cover this. We had several meetings throughout that time period. And then during round 2, starting in November, we had a similar process. We had open house meetings, did some other things, but we just expanded on the information, got more into exactly what's going on. And then we went to city council. So we did environment committee first. That was in November. We provided an informational update on our community outreach and engagement and a resolution of support for potentially using tax roll billing as a mechanism for collecting the fee. And then in December, on December 16th, we went to full city council and provided the same information. Environment committee had questions for us, so we asked to address those questions. We came back to city council with questions. So we're currently in the process of working those out, but that happened in December. And next slide will go into what we actually did during round 1. So we were able to engage with about 6,300 people. This is through a multiple of it's online, person. We thankfully had a lot of people that responded to our surveys. We had more than 2,000 people that responded to our survey, and we were able to meet physically in person with approximately 3,400 people. This happened over a course of different events. So we did 38 community events. We had 36 group presentations. We had 9 open house meetings. We did interviews, and I believe one open house meeting as well. They have some pictures to kind of show you what those meetings look like. Assistant director of the news as well, that's fine, but you can go on to the next slide, please. As far as our media impressions, we have a consultant HDR, Cook and Schmidt. They're gonna help us make sure that we're reaching as many people as we can throughout the city of San Diego. And so we had multilingual print and internet ads. I believe we had ads in Spanish, and we did Tagalog, and then we did just different languages to make sure it's accessible for all. We did television and print interviews, social media posts. We also developed a website. It's called cleangreenSD.org. It's still active. You can check it out. It has FAQs, resources, materials, our scheduling for all of our events as well on that website. And we also prioritize engagement with leaders. We understand that there are leaders that know their communities best, so it's important to meet them as well. And we had ongoing community-based organizations, and then we had 10 interviews with interested parties. If I'm going too fast, let me know. I'm trying to rush a little bit, but as far as what we heard, so 74 to 80% of people said they were either very satisfied or satisfied with current service. But we know there's always room for improvement. Some of those improvements included frustration with damaged bins. I'm sure as you guys all know, and especially if the driver breaks the bin and the residents are forced to pay. That's a constant frustration that we heard a lot. Delayed and missed collections as well. We had confusion with what can be put in the green bin. That was kind of something that was brought up a lot. Is this plastic going to be thrown in the green bin? Is it actually going to degrade over time? And also see a question. I'm just going. I can do questions either. I can do them.
Let's do them all at the
Okay.
end. Yeah. Yes.
And then also more confusion about organic waste. So some people that don't want to use it think that it'll attract feelings and just ferment and pests as well. Yeah. So we had to adjust some of those and give some solutions to those issues. I don't know if that's weird, but you can move on to the next slide. And as far as service enhancements, so we asked residents exactly what they'd like to see, whether it was in our survey or for them to just tell us directly what they would like to see. If Measure B, we have more money basically for a fee, so we could use it to add some service enhancements. So top of choices were the container size options. So we had a lot of questions. If I have a small bin or I only have 3 bins, am I gonna have to pay the same amount as someone that has a larger bin and has more than me? Questions that are answered that is no. The size and the quantity will affect the fee as well. There's also a desire for increased cycling pickups. So again, we only do bi-weekly, maybe weekly in the future. A bulky item pickup program, which would allow residents either once or twice a year have some kind of mechanism where they could, contact us directly to come pick up their couch or their bed or something which is too huge for them to take to the environment itself, blocking. And then lastly, currently you can drop off your household hazardous waste on Saturdays, but maybe there's a need for more frequency, or maybe there's like I saw the jumpsuit events you guys do where you can have house districts and just take it directly there instead of going all the way to Paramount. So I think it's more all those different options. Next slide, please. And lastly, we asked residents and allowed them to just leave comments. So whether it was a physical comment part of our meetings or on the website, or even we got a bunch of post-it notes, you can just write out exactly what you're feeling. Some of our popular comments were confusion about the fee and property taxes. So most people are under the impression that the property taxes they pay automatically will go into these and that's how we're paying for trash now. And we had a board, which I have on my flash drive as well, if you guys like to see the visual. We had a pie chart that breaks down exactly how the general fund is made up of, how much taxes go into that as well. And then there are residents that saw a need for continued transparency. So that's why we're trying to do all these meetings. I know originally it seemed like a lot to do 3 rounds of outreach and engagement, but we want to make sure that through every process, we're meeting with the city, providing people the opportunity to come talk to us directly, leave their feedback, ask us questions. And lastly, it seems as though a lot of people did appreciate our open house format. So we wanted to make sure it's very interactive. Instead of you having to wait and raise your hand, you can just come with us directly, ask us your question, make your comments. And we can make sure that everyone was heard and not leave feeling like, oh, we ran out of time, at least that happened. So that was good feedback. And lastly, what can you do now? So we're in round 2 currently. We have these community group registrations as well. The open houses are done for round 2, but we still have these. We also have our survey. The QR code is active. You can take the survey with the link. You can send it to your friends, family, neighbors, whoever you can benefit from taking it. We also have our email address that you can contact us at trash@sandiego.gov. And then again, our website, cleangreenSD.org, is still up and active. And we want to make sure we hear as much feedback as possible, as much input as we can. So, And then the next slide, I believe, is going over round 3. So round 3 has not started yet. It's supposed to start in February. We're still working on the locations for those meetings. Once it's ready, once everything's confirmed, we will be putting it on the website, cleangreensd.org, and you'll see the calendar and it'll give you the time, location, date, all that information so you can make sure you attend. And our last slide is our next step. So again, we went to city council, we did November environment committee, December we went to full city council. We're in round 2. We're going to go back to city council for the environment committee and we're going to present our findings so far for the cost of service study. And after that, in March, we're going to, well, in February, we're also going to start round 3, but it's going to be some overlap. So February to March, we're going to have round 3, and then we're going to go to still city council or full city council in March. And that's going to happen before we are able to send out our mailer. So in April, your effective measure be you're going to send a mailer. It'll give you a 45-day period of time to protest. And in June, we're gonna go to full city council. That's when they're actually gonna vote if there's even gonna be a fee. If there is gonna be a fee, they're gonna vote on what. And if that is approved, then our efforts will continue on forward and we're going to have our customer portal that we've been developing go live, which will give residents opportunity to log in or really sign up and select their service levels, select how many bins they want, size they want them to be, update the contact information, all that stuff. So that's pretty much all we have for you today, but I'm here to questions, so it's for Selena. Yeah, you can start it.
I got a
Yes.
question. Are they gonna consider, like, if there's a house with 2 ADUs in the backyard, that they pay more than my single family?
So each ADU, as long as it has its own address, will be its own property. So with their service levels, let's say they have 3 cans, they're gonna pay for those 3 cans. If another house has 5 cans, they're gonna pay for theirs. But an ADU is its own standing property, so it's not like they would pay what they pay for what they're buying.
Even though the owner owns all 3?
Now, if the owner owns all 3, then in the portal, they're gonna go in, because that would just be a unit. So the portal, they're gonna be able to select, units actually on their property and go from there, but they're gonna pay based on the amount of trash cans and recycling bins and organic waste bins.
And then what about the residents that are renting a house that has an additional unit that's not really a different address, but they create an enormous amount of trash and don't have enough hand space for their weekly trash? And if they even get it out on time to get picked up?
So if it's, I kind of live in a house where there's like 2 kind of ADUs in the back. It's basically by lot. So the ordinance is that no more than 3 units on the lot. So the property owner is basically who we're contacting there, who's in charge of how many units everyone gets. So they would have to be responsible for selecting how many trash cans and recycling cans, everything.
So the renters don't know.
The
that
renters
they're-
don't go in the portal. No, it's directly to the property
And if it's
owner.
like a company that owns
Mhm.
house, because there's a lot of businesses that own
Property management
houses
company.
now.
Yeah.
that-
We've sending mailers out exactly to the property owners. I think we're also exploring like a default. So if someone doesn't ever log into the portal, I think we're assessing what's the average around the city currently.
Yeah.
And if that's working or not. And then if you never log in the portal, you never let us know what you want, we'll send you your default. You have a period of time to fix it. Let's say they need more. they
About
need
elderly
less.
people that don't have computers to log
That's
in.
why we're doing the default, but you can also contact via calling, like it's not just the portal is just there to make sure there's a mechanism in place for you to just easily update it, so you don't have to wait on hold and wait
Okay,
as well.
thanks.
Yeah, of course.
So is that Noel? Noel?
Oh, me? Okay, sorry. 2 questions and a comment. So will you be offering military discount?
Did not export that, but Rosalina's taking notes and things like that.
Okay.
Think-
Secondly, do you have any idea the cost? Are you talking like $10 a month, $200 a month? I mean, seriously.
So we can't get ahead of the cost of service study. It's not $200 a month. but we can't
Okay.
get-
Never reach sure.
Yeah, that's too much. We
Well,
can provide
no.
more, and
No.
it's also not for profit, so we can't make more money than it costs to provide the service, so it's
Okay.
not that drastic.
Okay.
But in March is when we're actually gonna present it, so if you are able to watch for, you'll probably see a lot of the next day, but that's when we're gonna actually present the findings of the cost of service study to the environment committee, and then again to city council. So
And
it's
then
gonna take
comment?
2 months. Mhm.
Comment is, I just think this might lead to a lot more illegal dumping because people aren't gonna wanna pay and they're gonna be like, I'm just gonna throw my stuff out on Highway 94 or in some apartment complex. So that's just a comment.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good-
I haven't paid trash in 27 years, so it's not fun for me. I don't like
100-year-old ordinance. It was a big
So then before, I wanted to get like 2 more questions because we still have our priorities, but let's get 2 more questions.
You said something about, we have cans now, so we keep our cans that we have.
So we're exploring if everyone's gonna get new cans, people are gonna be able to keep their cans. That's part of what the officer, city attorneys and what are. Full analysis of what we should do and the fee model.
Use the people on fixed income.
Yeah, but we're exploring our discount program, our primaries, make sure there's some mechanism. We're just working out how they would apply. I think things like that. You don't have completions or we do it because we see. There's some sort of recommending, don't know.
Yes.
We're getting sure it's a better service because I'm on streaming. We never know if we pick up in the morning or the afternoon. And then my grade did not come, it picked up on Friday, picked up yesterday. And that's not the first time. This is the second time this year my grade did not get picked up. So I had to get it done. So I want better service. We can have paid for.
All right, so then we're gonna take one last one online. I see Jen.
Yeah.
Jennifer?
Oh, thank you. I know we're short on time. I just had a.
No worries. Last question.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So for example, is it the amount of cans assigned to a household? Or
The
is it
amount of-
the amount of cans assigned to a household or how many cans you put out on the curb?
The amount of cans assigned to a household.
Oh, okay. So we've given cans like to the neighbor and then purchased new cans, so we need to cancel the old cans instead.
And things like that, that's kind of why we're exploring the option to just clean slate and provide new cans for everybody if, you know, they're interested in that, because we know there's a lot of murky data, a lot of cans that aren't in the right place. So that's kind of why we're exploring that as well.
One quick.
I hope she can hear me.
One
Okay,
quick
hold on.
comment. I have one quick
comment.
comment I want to make. This came from someone that I work with on cleanups, community cleanups, and she said, if waste is put in our personal black, quite often we put that trash cleanups in our personal black bins, and if the city charges collection fees for each black bin, it will cause an economic impact on volunteer cleanups. A lot of times we do cleanups and we bring the stuff home and just put it in our own can because we can't get a dumpster from the city, just some of the smaller cleanups. But if you're going to be charging, I think her point is if you're charging for each black bin, then that might deter community cleanup.
Okay, it's the amount of black bins that you
Yeah.
have. Okay, if you needed more.
You wouldn't
to do
put,
that.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
get 2, you stick with
Yeah,
1.
just gotta do. Okay, that's
Right.
something we can definitely write down.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I don't know how long you guys are gonna hang on.
I can stick around a little bit.
Okay, so maybe if after our community priorities, we can ask more questions if you have any questions. All right?
Thank you,
everyone.
guys.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our community priorities. I believe Lynn's wants to do a presentation before we start doing our collection of information.
Yeah. Everybody see that? So usually we start out with just like a little summary of what we did from the prior year. And so last year we looked at 7, we were very honest with the last one that we probably wouldn't be able to do anything with pursuing a mural art for the underpass at the 94 College. Because we don't have the bandwidth to do that ourselves. We need more volunteers.
Anybody?
So I'm going to start out with number 6 then, and I'm asked Jennifer and Bettina and John to jump in. On Streamview, for those who don't know, today I got from our mayor's rep, we're looking for a metric to measure on if we're going to be successful over the next year in reducing the amount of illegal dumping on Streamview. Turns out last year there were more than 1,000 get it done for Streamview Drive. That was for a year and a half.
Oh, that was pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, a year and a half.
Yeah, unbelievable.
On stream.
So I want to say that Bettina and Jennifer Bennett and John Hogan are online, myself, Richard Diaz from Oak Park. We've been working with our community representative from the mayor's office, our representative from our District 9 office, and also our District 4 office for the last year to see what kind of things we could do to try and minimize the issues on Streamview. So we did request through the mayor's office, they installed 18 new no illegal dumping signs. They have the impact that you might expect. They're not there, but it is letting people know that that area is not supposed to be, you can't just dump there. So we met a couple of weeks ago with Fatima from the mayor's office, and we asked specifically to add increased dumpster days, free dumpster days on Streamview. So this year we're looking at doing 4 dumpster days, 1 each quarter. It'll be open to both of our communities, but it's primarily intended to get those people to wait for a dumpster day on Streamview. To go along with that, the Environmental Services is going to be releasing some new flyers this spring in 4 languages, because we realize we also have some language barriers there with some of the residents. So those will be coming out, I think, this spring, early summer. We've asked for, we will be targeting Streamview Drive. Volunteers will be going out. We'll be going door to door, delivering flyers. Every dumpster day we do there, we will have flyers out. And at the same time, we want to start promoting a little community pride. Phase 2 of Streamview Drive is supposed to start at the end of this year. That's a $45 million project. They're going to be installing 5 more roundabouts, over 70 trees, landscaping. This was something that we worked with Groundwork, an environmental group, to get through. And so we want people to start being a little prideful about Streamview instead of it's just a place to dump. So that will be followed, those flyers will be going out late spring, early summer. And then that will be followed by some targeted enforcement with Environmental Services and San Diego Police. And you better believe if someone gets a ticket, they're going to be big news here. We will be sharing that information because it's important for people to see that there will be consequences to continuing to dump on there. Okay. So the signs are sort of a warning to be followed by education, to be followed by some targeted enforcement. And, you know, you don't want to spend $45 million on Streamview and plant 70 trees and then walk out and see a mattress propped up against a brand new tree. So Jennifer, anybody, Bettina, want to add anything to this? This is what we've been working on for the last year.
I would just like to say, if anybody wants to get involved and help with this effort, Streamview Drive, once work is done, it's going to be stunningly gorgeous, and we want to keep it that way. We want people who live on that street to finally open their front door and see something beautiful instead of somebody else's junk piled right at their door.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to help us out,
You'll let us know and we can hand out.
We will have all kinds of volunteer
And the
opportunities.
dumpster things are super fun, by the way. I know it doesn't sound like it, but eating asteroids. And Sonia and Lynn. It's just fun to hang out and meet all your neighbors and
And do
watch all the
something good.
trash go away forever.
Okay.
Anyway.
So that's what we've done with that one for the last year. Xena Canyon. We did, thanks to help from Officer Josh and Roberto from District 9 and a little pressure on the school district. The school district had Urban Corps come in. They removed all the homeless encampments in the spring and did some brush abatement. It wasn't great. There's still a lot of abatement to be done, which is hence why we asked when the goats are coming, because Roberto promised us goats 4 months ago. Still waiting for the goats. We also did get a trash can installed. The first 10 feet of Xena Canyon at the entrance actually belongs to the Park and Rec Department. And so I asked the park manager, they put a trash can there. It was stolen. We have a new trash can there that's chained to the bollard. We had a bollard installed last year that keeps the shopping carts out of the canyon. And the trash can is now chained to the bollard, so we think this one will stay.
How often do they do that?
They're supposed to be there once a week. And if they're not, let me know. It's being handled by the maintenance team from Choyas Lake, and I will let them know.
It's been full for a few days.
Okay. They're only coming, I think, once a week.
Who owns that palm tree?
That's
pretty close to 10 feet. Is that school or?
I think that might be Park and Rec.
They need to cut that.
That's probably not gonna happen, Janet. Yeah. I will also say that because we did, one of our priority requests that we turned in last year was to purchase Cena Canyon from the school district. That's 14 acres, which is sitting there as open space, not being used. It's also not accessible to the community because it is private property. So we made a request, Groundwork made a request for us as well. But with all the budget cuts, Park and Rec is being asked to cut 20% of their budget. So I don't think it's likely this year that that's going to happen. Okay, on to the home of the impromptu pop-up taco stand. It is really now called the Rolando Park Gateway. That's what we're officially going to be calling it. It's the entrance from College and College Grove. At the November meeting, just as we finished up, I announced that we had just been awarded a grant that day. And a week later, we got a second grant. So we're flush. No, we're not flush. But we think we do have enough money to do the landscaping now and the monument sign. I'll know more in the next 2 weeks. I talked with Groundwork today. They have a meeting tomorrow with the city. That piece of property is managed by the transportation department because it's a right of way. It's not just getting a right of entry permit. There's also a legal agreement that has to be signed. So they're going to handle that for us, and then they will have costs worked out from the landscape architect on what the cost for the monument sign will be, and we'll go from there. This was our third priority, cleanups. We did 4 cleanups on University Avenue last year. We did 2 in Rolando Park, 2 in Redwood Village. We had 2 community dumpster days, 1 on Streamview, 1 in Rolando Park we just had last month. We did a cleanup in Xena Canyon in September with I Love a Clean San Diego. And I had an incredible cleanup crew for our movie in the park event. We cleaned for 3 days. We cleaned the joint use park and cleaned the parking lot up again because we can't get City Park and Rec to take care of it. So we just did it. On to what is almost always a very frustrating topic, and that's traffic calming. We did get a stop sign in at the request of a resident who showed up here last year. So there's a stop sign at Donna Way, Donna Avenue that's installed. Someone turned in a request for a stop sign at Marlowe and 69th on the priority list last year. This is how long it takes. It's been approved. It's even been marked for the stop sign. They just have to come out and take care of it. We did also put in a request for some daylighting, red curb painting at Aragon and Marlowe. That was taken care of just a few weeks ago. They'll be doing that at Celia Vista and Bing after they finish all the construction there. It's on a list. We had traffic studies done for 4 or 5 blocks. Absolutely none of them qualified for any kind of traffic calming. And it has more to do with the way traffic engineering measures excess traffic. They use the 85th percentile, which means 85% of the people have to be driving 35 miles an hour. And we just don't have that. So unfortunately, it's still a major concern. But, you know, we have some small improvements we got done. Daylighting is huge. If you're
daylighting?
They paint the curb red, and that's the new law that just went into effect where you cannot park within 20 feet of a stop sign. And it's to create safety for pedestrians because there's a lot of blind spots when people park right up to the curb there. Okay. Last thing, this was our #1 priority last year, was helping our Village Green apartment residents. Many of you know they were flooded out. 53 families lost their homes. Only 43 came back. We did 3 fundraisers. We collected some personal donations, and we delivered gift cards to all the residents that returned to use to help purchase household items when they came back. Sort of a good movie. Okay, we did some other stuff this year. We did a community walk audit with Circulate San Diego in January. That's how come we found out that we needed daylighting, a lot of curbs. We need more traffic calming than what we're getting. And we're working on those. For those of you who might have noticed our community banners on College and University, we're a banner district, Rolando Park Community Council is. So we partner with the County Fair program, and we're doing it again this year, but we put up banners. All of our banners for our community council are replaced with County Fair banners, and those are our kids from Rolando Park Elementary and an occasional adult. And I think there's a principal that showed up. We also applied for a grant through a program called Fair for All. And we were able to give every student at Rolando Park Elementary a free fare ticket last year at the last day of school. That was fun. We also partnered with the PTA for our 3rd annual Movie in the Park event. We co-sponsored the Juneteenth celebration at Choyas Lake. We'll be doing that one again this year. And in October, we had our first community vaccine clinic and health fair, and we hope to do that one again this year, right out here in the parking lot. It's open to the community. So we've got a short list, actually sort of a long list of events that we're looking at for this year. And I've just talked with Josh a few weeks ago about doing a Coffee with a Cop event. We think that's great. And so we'll probably do that either at the Dog Society or the Croc Center again, someplace like that. We've got an ice cream social coming up in June. We've got our annual community yard sale in August. We'll have Movie in the Park in August. Next December, we'll also do an afternoon social, and we'll do a clothing drive again. That was very successful. 2 things we think we'll be doing. We're probably going to have a tentative groundbreaking for the project. And then we know that we have to spend all that money by November. So we will have a ribbon cutting celebration, we think, at the end of October. And last, we'll probably, as soon as we can work out a date, we're going to plan for another vaccine clinic. So the way this is going to work is we'll compile our priorities tonight, and I will email that out to everyone on my mailing list who's a member. If you're a member and you're not on our mailing list, you can contact us, and I'll either send you the link if you're not on the mailing list, or we'll get a printed survey form to you. So those will go out. There'll be one for Rolando Park, one for Redwood Village. There's going to be some overlap here, so some things will be on both surveys. And next month, we'll talk about the results of that and what we think we can do with the priorities over the next year. Again, the priorities that we can address depend on how much volunteer time it's going to take, what costs might be involved, and how complex it is. We have a lot of projects. Well, we actually have 3 or 4 from this year that actually have to carry over to the next year because it just takes that long. Getting the Gateway project, we've actually been working on this for over 3 years now. But it looks like it actually is going to happen this year. We're also going to be working on Streamview for the next year. That's a problem we need to get solved. And we've already got all kinds of community cleanups planned. We've got 4 dumpster days on Streamview. We're going to have 1 community dumpster day in December again. We'll have 4 University Avenue street sweeps. We'll be going to clean the joint use park and parking lot again for the Movie in the Park. And we will have another Xena Canyon cleanup with I Love a Clean San Diego in April. So those are our priorities for this year. And the door is open to suggest events that we haven't thought of that maybe you would like to see. We know we have new people in the neighborhood. And, you know, we need to figure out sometimes a better way to reach out to the rest of our community to get you engaged. Noelle?
I don't know if this falls under this category, but what about the undergrounding that's supposed to happen in South Dakota? You've been put off for years.
We submitted that through the planning group. as a priority for the entire planning group area. Because it's not just Rolando Park, it's Redwood Village, it's El Cerrito, it's Rolando. Most of us are in the same boat. The city started projects over 15 years ago. The one here in Rolando Park, they canceled the last 2/3 of it within just a matter of weeks from when they were supposed to start. And now it's on the list for 2034, 2037.
I was thinking in my lifetime.
Yeah, I know.
I'm one of those.
So we submitted a list over the summer. The Eastern Area Communities Planning Group asked for the city planning asked for our 5-year list. And we put that on our list for the entire area. So Harlan,
Like when they stopped the sidewalk, you know, they had that, they were gonna go do that sidewalk on College, right? They stopped right there, but then the bus stops right there, so you have this little, you know.
yeah.
Stop.
We have someone raise their hand online, Lynn, looks like Steve.
Steve Lambrady? Yes.
Good afternoon, good evening. Is this the Eastern area or is this a different group?
This is Rolando Park Community Council, Steve.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Nice talking to you.
You too. Okay.
Right.
Lynn, I have a question. I
Sure.
don't know if this falls under this. The home that is right next to the church where the dumpster
Mm-hmm.
event was. That place, I don't know what's going on there. If that's like a crack house or, they have a
Oh,
lot of cars. They have a RV that looks like one day the wind's gonna just tip it over. 'Cause it's
yeah.
really tipped. And that just, with this gateway being built, that place doesn't.
It does look like,
But it just doesn't look nice. And
Yeah.
it just looks like, I know it's a bunch of younger adults living there. And it's just, it doesn't represent our neighborhood.
no, it doesn't. It's also a rental. I just don't, if it's code enforcement issues, we can file a code enforcement case. Like, I just don't know that anything there rises to
Well, I mean,
that.
It's unsightly. I don't think
Yeah.
enforcement's gonna really care.
So open, folks.
Okay, so we're looking for some priorities. Anybody have any suggestions? Outside of what we've addressed here, any new ideas of what we would like to try to address for 2025? Any new events you'd like to see? Anything you notice in any portion of Rolando Park or Redwood Village where you'd like to see something change?
So I have a lot to say, huh? So, I'm kind of sad that the garage sale, community yard sale is not what it was. And then Dan Parker, was fantastic. They moved.
Yep.
He revitalized that thing and now it's just it's not what it used to be. And
So with that, we kind of need some help, right? So we need some volunteers to help organize that. There's some work to that. But if we do it once a year, that's just the time that you put in that work.
No, because Rolando, they always have, they do their 4th of July bike ride. They do
Sure.
there, and then they do what they do in March, they do their
Street fair.
street fair and stuff. It would be kind of neat if we had something that was just the
Yeah,
garage sale, because it's.
we would love
kinda
to grow
fizzled out.
things. Yeah, so we can put that down. But then I want everybody to remember, we need help to set those things up. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to see all those things, right? The movie in the park, we think is a great start to events like that. So we're hoping, if we can get, more volunteers to organize certain things like that, that we can grow that, right? Any specific type of event besides the yard sale you were thinking of? We've talked about a block party before, but again, volunteers and some time to organize.
I don't really know what to suggest, and it's too bad that our community doesn't have something that's, you know, even Halloween isn't like it used to be, you know, we used to have rows of people, hands from God knows where, and, you know, I barely gave out any candy this year. It was really sad. So, I don't know.
Well,
I'm just-
we'll keep our thoughts open, and then if we have some event ideas as we go, we'll try to see what volunteers we can get to try to organize those sorts of things, and hopefully we can get more and more people on board, and we can keep it a regular thing.
Yeah.
So you're looking at events around like Halloween, events around.
Well, I mean, just, you know, anything that's always, oh, it's a Rolando Park thing, you know, and it would just be nice to see, but I don't know, like,
Yeah.
so just.
Yeah.
There's a chat, and Cheryl, I just want to say, cleanup in Xena Canyon is going to be problematic for us, and that's because it's school district property. So they're the ones who have to pony up the money to do the brush abatement. We can put in an ask like we did this year or last year and ask Roberto, but I don't know.
We don't, yeah, it's like, say, it's private property, so it's not public property.
So the dumpster days are you gonna do the same type of thing where you have free for at certain time for the residents and then like staggered other types of
No, for the dumpster days, it's
Streamview,
it's just going to be open from 9 to 11 or until the bins are full.
okay, and so anybody can come on.
They don't check IDs or anything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's for the neighborhood, it's for our community. We don't want, you know, people in Mission Valley coming.
Mhm.
But all it
But,
takes is someone
like
to drive
Redwood
by and
Village,
see it,
I mean-
bring their-
In Village of Park, Rolando Park.
Yep.
Okay.
Streamview is one side of Streamview's Oak Park side. Redwood Village.
Okay, so I gotta make sure I'm on the right side of the street.
No, it's.
No, meaning as in it's gonna be multiple
And
communities,
this is, you
right?
know, that.
Gathering of
that
multiple
community will
communities.
always be.
Okay.
And I did ask Roberto, we might work with District 4 and do another major cleanup at dumpster day at Choyas Lake. District 4 has done some there, and we would partner with them. The last one we did was 2 years ago, I think. And they will have metal recycling, they'll have hazardous waste disposal there. So we'll see if we can do something like that this year too.
What were the times for the dumpster days?
9 to 11. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have a calendar that we're gonna mail out before the next meeting. We'll have a calendar of events for the rest of the year, and it'll have our meeting dates, cleanup dates, and community events.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you know, in the interim, I mean, you can send us your suggestions via rolandopark.org if you think of something afterwards, right?
Up until when?
Um,
So do you need it
Through next week.
Yeah.
through next week?
Yep.
If you come up with any ideas. Okay.
I like what you guys are doing. I would hate for you to get too saturated so that, you know, it's spread out too much.
Yeah.
Like the growing of these things, I know they take years sometimes, so so good.
And that's why we have 3 carrying over, and really, realistically, we can really only take on 1 or 2 more priorities, and it would have to be pretty major beyond this, because we're doing additional dumpster days this year.
It looks like somebody had posted about possibly doing something for fire prevention. So clearing or cutting or whatever, is that something that an event that we might do, especially as we head into the summer season?
I think she was asking about Xena Canyon.
Oh,
and
in
that's-
particular.
Yeah, and that one's sort of out of our realm. We can make an ask and we can hope those goats show up pretty soon.
Is there any other area in Redwood Village or Rolando Park that we might be able to stage a fire prevention, cutting?
It
Get out your
depends on,
weed whackers?
Depends on, is it on private property?
Right. And that's what we
Yeah.
have to
We
figure
don't
out.
know.
Oh.
So if there's any, if you think of the, identify and we could should look into it. Mhm. So anything you can, let's say you drive around and you see something in a space,
Mhm.
we don't have too many green spaces that we don't know about.
No, we do.
City.
Yeah, that's city property.
Some of it is city.
Yeah.
There are parcels of it that are private, which is causing problems.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of wrap it up because we're way past. But any last minute questions or comments?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that would be interested in something that's is around learning how to do basic maintenance on their car that we could organize around the Streamview area? Like changing
training,
your
you mean?
your wipers, changing the oil, things of that nature that just, show you how to do it, and that way you don't have to pay the dealership to do it.
So volunteering a training, if anybody was interested.
Hey, if he wants to set it up, I'll take a class. I need to change my windshield.
Get a nerve.
No?
I
I'm sorry,
think we
who's speaking?
can find-
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think we can find enough teachers and enough people to receive the teaching.
All right. Well, as I said, if you have any ideas, go ahead and email us, and we can discuss it, within the next week, and then we can discuss it in our next meeting. All right. If you have any questions, we still have Officer Hoskins and our representatives. Coming. I am so sorry. I'm sorry.
You thought he was Lisa Junior, are you kidding?
I'm so sorry. All right, you see, it's getting late. Thank you, everybody, and you guys have a great rest of your evening. All right.
Tomorrow at 7:00 for the Eastern area.
Yes.
Mhm. Thank you, everybody online.
Thanks,
You guys have a
everyone.
good evening.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Olivia.